All right. So we're going to do just sort of like a dive-in experiment. If you ever tried to draw a face, you probably know it's pretty hard, right? And one of the reasons why is because your brain is very designed to remember what people look like. And the way it does it is it just takes the face, pretty much this part of the face, this triangle, and just remembers that. And so much of your brain is geared towards that process that it's very difficult to see the actual head shape, the actual way this is. Everyone will look like a weird cartoon when you first start trying to draw, right? So what happens is most people, when they're trying to learn how to draw, they think that because they can't draw a face, that means they're not good at drawing. And that's actually just totally normal. So the way to think about learning to draw is more like, imagine if everyone in the world learned to draw but didn't learn to read. And a few special people learned how to read. And actually, it probably was like that, like, hundreds of years ago. So then if you were someone who wanted to learn to read, right, it would be painful. You'd have to learn how to read, and it's not a natural process, right? Naturally, you probably don't need to read. So it's the same thing. Drawing is the same thing. You didn't learn how to draw. It's not because you're not special. Learning to draw and paint is not special. It's not magic. It's literally the process of translating light with your eyes to a piece of paper. That's it. It's basic physics, optics, right? But what makes it difficult is that you have to kind of turn off parts of your brain that do things like summarize your face. And also other things. If I take a little object, right? If I throw it at you and then I go over to a table, let's say it's a ball. I throw a bunch of balls at you, right? And I go over to a table and I say, okay, how big was the ball I threw at you? You would pull up pretty much the right size almost every time. If I give you a stick and I say, try to hit this ball, and I throw a bunch of balls at you and you try to hit them like with a baseball bat, then I bring you over to the same table. Now imagine it's like a different person, right? And I say, how big was that ball? They will pick a larger ball. The reason why is your brain goes, oh, damn, I have to hit this. I have to be accurate. And it goes in accuracy mode, and it basically crops it down so it looks bigger so that you can hit it. So it kind of zooms in so you can hit it. So then everyone who tries to hit a ball thinks everything is bigger. That is another thing you have to undo. So one of the reasons why we close our eye and we use like measurement tools and whatnot is because when you're trying to draw, you go, oh, I have to be right. I have to be accurate. Your brain's like, okay, let's make it bigger. And your brain makes that bigger, and it's all wrong. Right? It's just basically over, millions of years, thousands of years, humans have been basically trained to hit things, and the way that your brain helps you hit things with spears and bows and guns and stuff is to make them bigger. Now that your brain is like, oh, we have to be accurate, okay, cool, I'm going to make that bigger, right? So learning to draw is literally the process of breaking your brain. You have to basically do tricks to make your brain stop doing these things that it's helping you with, like memorizing faces and making things too big and 3D vision. So you'll find people who don't know how to draw, when they draw something in 3D, they do this a lot, right? Because they want to see around it. But you're trying to translate a 3D thing to a 2D thing. So that's not helping you. You have to keep your eye steady and make it like a camera. One lens in the same spot. If you see yourself doing this, everything's going to be out of proportion and wrong size, wrong positions, everything. But in the normal world, that helps you, right? You can see like the bad guy around the bush in the corner and see in 3D, okay? So what we're going to do is the first lesson is kind of just going to help you see, oh, wow, hey, actually, if I break my brain by turning this face upside down so it doesn't look like a face, it's actually kind of more accurate than if I don't. So then you can go and practice that. Practice drawing just abstract shapes and turning them into drawings. So that's what we're going to do first. So kind of like no like special tricks, no process, nothing. We're just going to try it. Okay, so you can use this face here. You're going to have your pencil. And what I want you to do is you're going to kind of look over there. You have your paper up. I'm going to do sort of the same thing. And I want you to just kind of like sort of guess where that is and guess where this is, right? Probably the first thing you want to do whenever you're trying to draw is figure out how tall it is And then how wide is it? If you get those two things, you're probably going to do pretty okay, right? So we're going to say, it's like about right there and about right there. Okay, so just get those 2 marks on. And then we're going to say, you know, it's like about that wide and about that wide. Okay, we have kind of an idea for the bounds. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to sort of like figure out like how does this angle go. We're going to go like this. Just kind of get an angle and just sort of get an idea. We're just making like a rough box. Okay, and the same thing. Yeah, so this side here, kind of just get a rough box like that. Okay, so it's about like that. And maybe it's more like this. Now, you don't have to erase. Just keep your marks pretty light. Okay, and we're just going to try to get the face. Okay, now, it's upside down, so about where do you think this shape is? Not eyes, shape. Where's that shape? Like it's like kind of like about here maybe? Where's the hair? Just kind of guess where the hair is at. Hair is kind of up here. And I'm just doing like big lines, right? And this hair. Okay, and get sort of the same kind of box around that shape. Like this. And like this. And yeah, probably like that. Okay, so you got some rough idea of where stuff's at. Okay? And remember, you're just going to draw shapes. Alright, so now let's draw this shape. Based on kind of what you did, where do you think that is? So we're going to say, you're going to put your pencil on the paper, right? And you're just kind of going to look over there. And you're just going to kind of go like this. And it's kind of like that, right? Okay. And then where do you think this shape is? It's, I don't know, it's kind of more like this, right? And just kind of just draw a little bit like that. Okay. And then let's do this part. Where do you think that is? Kind of like this. Okay, and just keep thinking shape, shape, shape. And then there's like this shape here. Okay, kind of goes like that. Yep, something like that. Something like this. Okay, what's this shape? Draw that part. That part's kind of like this, right? And notice I'm not trying to like be very accurate. I have my guidelines and they can be off, but I'm sort of like putting my pen on it and just kind of like just walking around. Another key thing is I'm more looking over here. So I put my pencil, pen, whatever here, and then I look over there and I kind of like draw my eye and make my hand go along with it and just sort of glance back and forth while I do it. Okay. Okay, now let's get this shape. What's that shape look like? It's kind of like this, right? Maybe like that. Okay. Something like that. Okay, and then what does that look like in there? It's kind of like this, right? And you kind of, another way to think about it is you're kind of feeling the thing with your pencil, but on the paper. Okay, let's get this kind of here. So I'm going to kind of come, and again, I'm not trying to be like crazy accurate or do any style. I'm just trying to get sort of like the outside shape. Okay, let's draw some of these. Let's see, there's like a thing probably like this. And a thing like that. Let's get maybe this hair around there. Yeah, it's probably like that. Like this. Maybe we get this shape. Let's do that. Just kind of like this. Okay, let's get this shape over here. See, I'm just kind of bouncing around, not really doing anything. Yeah, so it's like this. Come up. And you know what? It kind of goes up into here. And yeah, we can continue that shape on there. Okay. Now let's see if we can kind of do this part right here. Oops. So kind of skid like that. So from here, we're kind of going to go like this. Okay. And let's get this over there. So like starting from here, kind of go around again, just sort of like drawing around based on my guides. Like that, right? Doesn't have to be dead accurate or anything. Okay. And then we can sort of maybe get this shape in here. Maybe it's kind of like that. All right. And then let's do that. So then maybe we can get, see that shape there? What does that look like? Maybe it's like this. Okay, and then we can kind of do that one. It's like what, maybe here? Okay, that one's there. And then we can maybe just do a few more just for fun. And that there. Okay. So we didn't really like do any drawing, right? We don't have any etching or, you know, any like, oh my God, I forget the name. Cross hatching. We didn't do any measurements. We kind of like sort of guessed. And all we did is we found shapes, right? Which is like, hey, there's a shape here. One thing you can do is you can look for dark things, right? So I can start kind of here. I can say, okay, I'm going to draw this dark shape like that. Okay, and then I have this other dark shape over there, so I can kind of go like this and draw that. Okay, so this is called contour drawing. What you do is you kind of give yourself some guides, but really you're just putting your paper on the pencil, your pencil on the paper, and then you're looking at your subject. Remember, my camera's reversed, right? So you're looking at the subject over there, and then you're following with your pencil. So in a way, you're imagining that you're doing this, but you're doing it over here. This does two things. One, it makes you look at the subject more, which is what you really need. And two, it kind of gives you a feeling like it's almost like a sculptor, right? Now, some people that'll feel weird, but what we're going to try to do when we learn to draw is use all of our senses, not just our eyes, but like everything we can to sort of get information. And this is one of the easier informations. Because remember, your eyes kind of are lying to you right now, but your sense of touch is just sort of like neutral. It doesn't really care about a face, right? So when we do the contour drawing, we're just going like this, and you know, we're just kind of looking back and forth and go, oh, it kind of goes up here, goes like that, goes like this. Okay. We turn the face upside down because we're going to do something in a few seconds. And let me get a few more little lines. There. Yeah, you can kind of go crazy. Now also, this is actually kind of how a lot of watercolorists do their drawings. I'm not sure why it works so well with watercolor, but it does. Okay, so that's the first step. Now, hopefully you got it done. I'm going to put it back, and then maybe I can do this. Yeah, okay, transform. And we're going to rotate it. So just turn your paper upside down. I'm going to see how we did. That's straight? Straight enough, I think. Okay, so how do we do? If you've ever tried to draw a portrait, what you should see is that you got way closer than you think you would get. Okay? We were just effectively just kind of drawing shapes and we're doing it in a fairly sloppy way. but that's pretty close in proportions. Like if you look, it's not bad. I think I would have to flip it actually. Yeah, let me do that. No, that's right. Oh yeah, it is. It's kind of like that. There we go. It does, right? So that's the clue. The only reason that you can't draw is you never trained yourself to turn the face recognizer off. Flip it upside down, and suddenly the face recognizer is like, I don't know what that is. This is a bunch of garbage. And now all of a sudden you can draw. So the vast majority of learning to draw is almost like giving your brain a disability, right? It's like learning how to not be good at seeing faces, learning how to not be good at hitting a ball, learning how to not be good at seeing in 3D. And if you look, that was like what? Like 15 minutes or so? 10 minutes? It's not bad. You could probably take that and sketch and kind of turn it into something, right? Okay, so now to continue the experiment, the learning to draw experiment, let's do it again, but we'll do it right side up. So I'm going to take dude, and just to keep it fresh, let's rotate him. Okay, now we're going to try it with normal way. And what you're going to find is you're probably going to do better than you think, but it's probably going to be pretty confusing. It'll feel weird. It'll feel weird. Trust me. Okay. So get yourself ready. I need some water. Okay, so same thing. What is right side up? So here's the deal. You're probably going to do better than you think because you already kind of did it upside down. But you know what? Maybe we change the face. What do you think? No, we'll try and do this. But you're probably not going to get as accurate because you're literally looking at the face, and trust me, it's going to look childish, right? Because you have no training. But maybe it comes out great. Okay, so same deal. We're going to find the top and the bottom. Kind of about here. And here. Okay. And probably this side here. Yeah, about there, I think. And about there. Is that right? That's close enough, I think. Okay, now we gotta get the shape, so kind of here, maybe this. Kind of comes out like that. Right, we just sort of want to get like a rough idea of the shape. It's kind of like that. I think I made them a little too big. Okay, and then we're going to get the inside, so the forehead's kind of like here. That's the chin, and come like that, I think. So whenever you draw a face, basically figure out the hair, and it'll help a lot. So the hair is kind of here. Okay, so we got just that much. Now, where's the eyes? The eyes are kind of like this, right? So now we go into contour mode. So remember, you put your pencil down, look over there, and try to follow along. You can glance back and forth, but for the most part, you want to just do this. Now, keep in mind, I actually did a lot of training doing portraits, but I think this will still look kind of weird. So yours might come out not as good as mine. Okay, so we got two eyes. Let's go here. Nose is kind of like this. Or less. And outside of the nose, like that. That looks not very good. Oh my God, that's terrible. All right, so now let's try doing the mouth part. It's kind of like this, right? Let's see, let's get that. And do you sort of like feel like it's different? Like it feels different, right? Like it's harder to see what you need to see. Maybe you feel like something's in the way, interfering. Another one is you might go like, oh, I want to do that detail. I want to do that detail. Suddenly you want to do all these details that you didn't before. Before you're just doing big shapes. Okay, and then maybe kind of come here. Let's get this one. That. And let's get that one. Like this. And let's see. Something like that. Okay, and then inside here. There, contour drawing here. Okay, and then we can follow the contour up. Try to get the hair. Let's kind of come back there. All right, let's go over to this side. Kind of like that. And then I'm going to kind of add in the neck. It'll bother me if I don't. Okay, and then let's put the eyes, and they're kind of like this. I think. Something like that. Okay. See, that kind of looks wrong. The other one would look way more like a person in a way. And keep in mind, I'm trying to turn off and I'm trying to do it wrong. So yours, if you looked at this, you're like, that looks like a cartoon, right? It looks like a kid's drawing. Okay. And it's because your brain is literally messing with you. You cannot draw that face. And weirdly, you'll find that people who are very suddenly good at drawing, they actually might have a problem with face blindness, right? Or color blindness too. If they're very good at drawing, people who are colorblind, amazing at drawing, right? So that's sort of the thing to realize about learning to draw. It's just a skill that helps you turn, like a whole bunch of tricks, techniques, and skills to help you turn off the natural way your brain works to view things. And all you're doing is translating the light over here, or to something you see, to a piece of paper, right? You're not really drawing a line here. You kind of want to draw, this is a shape. It's a piece of light. This is another shape, another piece of light. And the only thing that's keeping you from doing that is that you just haven't learned how to turn your brain off so you can see those shapes as shapes rather than as a dude beard and, oh, here's his mouth. Okay. So that's the first lesson. It is possible for everyone to learn to draw. You just need to practice it. If you want to do portraits, turn them upside down, draw the portrait, turn it right side up. You'll be like, oh, crap. Hey, that worked. Why? That's weird, right? Okay, so take a break, and then we're going to go and talk about contour drawing, and then we're going to practice drawing from imagination. So, to get into drawing now, the very first thing you should be doing, and something that I kind of have to make clear, you totally don't need to take a course or watch a video like this to learn how to draw. The way you learn how to draw is you just do a ton of drawing. But things like what I'm doing here are just things you can try and you can do, and tricks and techniques to turn your brain off and help you get into the drawing mode. Okay. So it's just a method of shortening the amount of time you need to get to where you want to in drawing. So top number one lesson is, if you want to learn to draw today, you want to go get a sketchbook, a couple pencils, and just start drawing, or a ballpoint pen, and just do a bunch of drawing. And just keep telling yourself, I got to make a bunch of shitty drawings. 500 terrible drawings, and you'll be way better than you think, right? Okay, so now, contour drawing is literally just, I'm taking my pencil, I put it on the paper, okay? And there's like 3 levels of it. So let's do like very extreme contour drawing. So I put my pencil down, I'm going to pick a point. So like say here, I'm going to pick there, okay? I'm going to put my pencil down there. So I'm going to go, okay. And then I only look over there at his eye. So this is kind of like the first thing you should practice. And don't look at your paper, even though I can totally see my paper. Okay. And then I follow down the nose. And go like this. Do the nose. Now, the purpose of this is to get you to actually see individual shapes and to not look at the whole thing as a face. And this applies if you want to draw a fruit. You got to get to where like you don't see it as a thing, but just see it as a bunch of shapes. Okay. And then when you look at it, after extreme contour drawing, it looks like garbage. That's totally intentional. It should not look good at all. But you can get to where it does look pretty awesome. Like there are people who are extremely good at this and it comes out looking pretty close and they don't look at their paper. Okay. Okay. So that's practice 1. Do this kind of extreme contour drawing. Okay. Next one. A little bit easier contour drawing, right? So the extreme contour drawing is to make yourself really just look only at these shapes. The next one is if you want to get kind of a good drawing. So same deal. We're going to basically pick this here and there. Okay. And put our pencil down. Okay. Now don't lift it off. So this is basically the rule. You can't take your pencil off, but you're allowed to go across things. So if you want to get from here to here, you can draw a line from there to there. That's fine. You don't have to lift your pen off. Go there, and then you draw this. And then you go here, and you draw this. And then you go here, and you draw that. You go here, and you draw that. You go here, and you draw this. You go here, and you draw this. And it's fine. You just go right over the stuff, okay? So we're going to do that version next. Okay. Pen or pencil down. Okay. Now the difference is I'm going to look at my paper and make sure I'm kind of going in the right way. And look. And then draw a little bit and look. And then draw a little bit and look. And then draw a little bit and look. Draw a little bit and look. Now come down to where I think the eye is. Draw a little bit and look. Draw a little bit and look. Draw a little bit and look. If you make a mistake, you can do like a little squiggly thing and it'll actually look kind of awesome. Okay. Okay, now I'm back at the bridge of the nose. I'm going to come down. Now let's go across. Okay, we're going to go across his nose. I think he's there. See how I did a kind of little squiggly to come back? Okay, we're going to go down that shadow part there. And what you want to follow is shadows and light. Don't necessarily follow like a piece of the face. Keep looking back. Come up. Keep looking back. Come up. Come here. Okay, where's the eye? Eye is about right there. Draw a little bit, look back. A little bit, look back. And you want to take your time. It's very meditative. Okay, now I'm on his nose and I'm coming down and looking. Coming down and looking. And it goes like this. Coming down and looking. Coming down. Look. Back and forth. Good. Come over here. Yep, my hand is cramping. I have to lift it up. Okay, now we get into his beard a bit, and then let's come back. Don't lift your pencil off. Okay, about right here, let's do the mouth. Okay, it kind of comes like this. There's some beard there. Okay, come up there. Across. Get more beard here. Like that. We can get this kind of shadow along here. Okay, again, because my hand is in kind of a weird angle. Okay, give me a sec. Don't take your pencil off though. That's cheating. Okay, it kind of comes out here. Okay, now I want to get the hair, so I have to come back some, and I'm kind of finding my way. See, I'm doing this little squiggly and looking, and go about like this. Okay, come up. Remember, draw shadows. So I want to kind of draw this shadow here. That, I think it's about up there. Remember, you're not going for crazy accuracy. You're going for the feeling that you're kind of walking or touching the thing you're drawing. And when you make a mistake, you guys kind of wiggle your way back into where it should be. Okay. And then you're relating it. So like I'm looking over at my drawing. I see that there's this. I kind of come across. Yeah, I'm going to go through in there. Like that. All right. Okay, and then we got this sort of like curly part here. And yeah, I can kind of come up through here. And I think I can follow along with this. We can get some of these. All right. Hand cramp, give me a second. Here. Yeah, there's some beard there and some hair here. Okay, we're just going to try to walk the outside and then periodically come in and touch. That goes there. That's good. That kind of comes in here. Good. That. There's like some hairs that go there. And you can take it a lot slower. I've been doing this for a very long time, so I'm probably going too fast. Okay. Like that. Looks like Chris Christopherson. Okay. Now if you look, it's pretty close, right? And I didn't do any like special techniques, or I didn't find the proportions first. Now I did a drawing of it 4 times, so it's gonna get better and better and better. But like take a look at how you did it and see, is it better than you thought it would be, right? I think that's the key, is if you're someone who thinks you can't draw, and if you just followed along and did this, you might go like, wow, holy crap, that actually came out way better than I thought, right? And incidentally, this would actually be a decent drawing to start doing a watercolor with. You could probably do a watercolor right on top of this, and it would actually look pretty close. One of the reasons why is because watercolor needs pencil to kind of hold it together, but then it sort of makes the pencil go away. And if you look, yeah, it's pretty good on the proportions. It's not too bad. Like, it looks like a face. Yeah, nose is kind of where it should be. Yeah, and I didn't do any measurement. I didn't do any guidelines, nothing, right? Okay, so if you're looking to learn to draw, start doing contour drawing. I would say I'm going to do this again tomorrow. So between now and tomorrow, you can just do contour drawings of almost anything. Good suggestions are hands. So if you take your hand and kind of like hold a pencil or something like this, and then do a drawing. Well, if you're right-handed, remember my camera's inverted, so I'm actually right-handed. Just do something like that, or like hold a fruit or something, and then try to do the contour drawing of your hand. You can go get random objects, pieces of fruit, a camera, got a camera lying around, anything. Do contour drawings of everything you can find. And then also your face. So you can get up in the morning and in front of a mirror, looking in the mirror in your bathroom, put the paper down here and kind of go like this, and then look and go like that and look and just see how good you do. And then keep in mind, it's probably going to suck. That's totally normal. If you've never done any drawing before, it'll not be great for a while. But what you want to focus on is the feeling, right? How does it feel to kind of draw like this? Do you see sort of like how it makes it so that you are more connected to the thing you're drawing, like physically, like you can kind of feel it? That's what you want. You want to capture that feeling. And I don't mean like, hippie crystals feeling. I mean, actually, literally, like you feel it in your hand, right? Sensation of touch. We're having an ad starting, and when we come back, yeah, I think that'll be it for my educational experiment.